We're to remember past deliverance is a weapon against fear. It's a weapon against fear. I'll tell you what, listen to this statement. Fear cannot get a stronghold in the heart of someone who's full of the vision of the majesty of God. There's no way that doubt can get a hold of you if you're full of the vision of His might and His power. Nehemiah understood this principle very well. He was on the wall pacing back and forth, and the children of Israel were just a remnant. They were worn out. They were surrounded by wicked Sanballat and Tobiah, and Sanballat and Tobiah had rallied the Ammonites, the Arabians, the Ashdodites, and they were pressing it on all sides, so much so that the workers on the wall wasn't finished, that there were heaps of rubbish everywhere, the gaps hadn't been closed, and they have a hammer in one hand and a sword in the other. And they're having to try to do that work, watching over the wall for the enemy to come in. And there's fear setting in the children of Israel. Nehemiah was given a principle that falls right in line of this. He remembered how great and awesome God was, and so he went up and down the wall preaching this message. And I looked up and rose up, and I said to all the nobles and to all the rulers and to all the rest of the people, and what did he say? Be not afraid of them. Remember the Lord who is great and terrible, and fight on. He said, that's all you got to do. Remember who He is. Remember how great, and he used that word terrible, awesome. Remember how awesome your God is. Don't be afraid. You know, that's how Moses drove the fear out of his congregation. He said, if thou shalt say in your heart, all these nations are stronger than us, too much for us, how can we dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but you shall well remember what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and all of Egypt. Thou shalt not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God is among you, a mighty God, and He is terrible. Oh, hallelujah. We got a terrible God, which means terrified, powerful, mighty, awesome. God says, don't forget who I am. For the Lord is high. The Lord Most High is terrible. He's a great king, Psalms 47:2. That's what Moses is saying. You're going to face all kinds of enemies, bigger and stronger than you. You're going to wonder how you can ever get through. But all I'm asking is remember who He is. Remember how faithful He's been. You've got to remember how great He is, and then appropriate that greatness for your present crisis. Appropriate. It's not enough to remember how great God is. You have to, by faith, say, He's great on my behalf. Now, listen to me. Follow me, please. Moses said, all of these things God has done. In other words, He didn't do this just to show off His power. He didn't do this just to be God. God playing God. God being God. No. Before He died, last thing Moses said, be strong, of good courage. Fear not. Don't be afraid. For the Lord thy God, He it is that doth go with thee. He will never fail you. You need a miracle in your life, He will never fail you. That God that created the heavens will create a miracle for you. David said, what nation on earth is like unto your people, O God? You do great things and terrible before your people, which you have redeemed. You do great things for your people, terrible things. You've got a battle facing you. You've got something ahead of you. What's the Lord done? How many prayers has He answered for you? Oh, what a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Thank you for everything you've done, Lord Jesus. Thank you for what you've done. Lord Jesus, I believe you. Any need that I have, I believe you.